Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. So today I want to learn about feminism. Could you
Okay.
teach me about feminism? So first let's start with what is it?
Okay. Well, I am no professional feminist, and I must disclaim that I'm just a normal girl out here. And to me, personally, feminism is equality of the sexes, but not in the way of we are the same, but equal rights for both women, men, transgender. Like, it's not just for women, it's for everyone. So we also try and protect, male rape victims, excuse me. So it's not just exclusively for women. It's for equality of all. That's my belief about it.
I'm sorry, but Twitch is very stupid, so I have to do something real quick. Uh, I have to change something real quick. Hold on.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All these things are so frustrating. Okay. All right. Let me see now.
Which is doing something to you?
Yeah, like it doesn't. So the stuff I do on Streamlabs doesn't port over to
Mm.
Twitch. So meaning like I wrote the title and it like kept my old, like some Diablo 4th thing that I was just.
Oh, yes, that is not what's happening.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very, very stupid.
Also, feminism is spelled wrong.
Very stupid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, let me change that right now. Yes, I just realized that. Oh shit. Okay. Okay, feminism. Yep. Okay. Okay, check now. See if everything is okay. Let me check real quick.
Yes, yes, it's good.
Okay. One more thing. Hold on.
Hi, coffee face. Are you still here?
Okay.
Yes, early stream.
Let's try to do this again. Fantastic. Okay.
Yes, yes, indeed. What are you up to, toffee face?
All right, we're on. Okay. Okay. Finally. All right. So start. Let's start from scratch. All right. Hello, Kelly. How you doing?
Hello,
Okay.
I'm
So
good.
what is feminism?
Well, again, I'm not an expert. I'm just a girl, but my opinion on what feminism is equality of everyone. So you're fighting not just for women, but for transgenders and anyone who feels subjugated or not, equal. And like I said, even among men that are male rape victims, like, we advocate for anyone who is not getting like the equal kind of treatment. And it is also a equality in rights, not in like we're all the same, like I like to acknowledge the differences that we have as different genders and people and different strengths, and how we can all, when we come together, be the
So
best.
it's a woman. So it's a movement for trans people as well.
For me, I believe that feminism is about equality and fighting for equality, and it's not just like we're
Equality for
keeping it
who? Equality for who?
for the sexes for everyone. And so it's
Equality for men, women, trans, everybody.
yes.
Okay, so why feminism? Why is it called feminism and not just equality for all?
Maybe because it started as a, like the Black Lives Matter movement started as like, guys, our lives matter. And it's pointing a light at a problem. And since it's a women originated, movement here, it's like, hey, why don't we have a right to vote? Why don't we have credit cards? Why are we being subjugated in these ways? And so it starts as that movement of like, you know, for women. And I think over time it has
So it
evolved.
started for women and now it's just equality for all. So is it like equality for men as well?
I I believe that yes, like it is equality in the ways that like we do fight for men who have been, male rape victims, and we try and give them the spaces that they need.
So, so it's a movement for male rape victims and for trans and for basically anything. Is it for anything that is equality? So how do you choose what is about rights? Like who? How do you decide this is part of the feminist movement and this is not?
I don't know because I'm not like the guy that dictates that,
Who
but
is the guy? So who is the guy that chooses this is part of feminism and this is not part of feminism?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's also there's on a personal level what feminism is to you, and then on a more grand political, I'm altering the laws kind of level. And maybe that's when women go and they march for a certain topic, and that's what helps
Okay,
get movement.
got it. So you decide, there's not really anyone that decides for the movement
I
what
don't
is
know. I don't know. Your guess
okay.
is as good as mine with that. I don't know.
So okay, but I'm still confused. So you're saying that feminism, because the word feminism is throwing me off. You're saying it started off as a female movement, and what does that even mean? What do you mean by female movement? Like it started off to advocate for women, and then it became advocating for men.
No, no. I mean, I am not a historian, but I believe it started off, women deserve the right to vote. Women should not be treated in these ways. Started that way, but I do believe, and I want to be a part of the sector of feminism that fights for equal rights all around.
So why
That's
don't we just call it
safe haven.
rights movement?
I'll make a petition for sure. Why not? I don't care. I don't care what it's called. I care about the heart of the matter of everyone deserving sort of equal treatment in what's, basic kind of human rights.
And what is human rights? Like, explain what you mean by human rights.
Well, I think probably, the right to a safe and happy life, not wanting to be murdered,
So,
mistreated.
so happiness is a right.
What is the isn't there like a quote that what is the law? The inalienable rights thing, the pursuit of happiness. Yeah.
So the pursuit of happiness, or is it you have the right to be happy? So what is it? Is it the pursuit, or is it the right to be happy?
A human right. I mean, probably the pursuit. Sure. I probably the pursuit.
Okay, so you don't have the right to be happy. It's not a right to be
No,
happy.
I do believe that it's up to you to be happy. If you want to be happy, you don't become happy. You choose. You can make yourself happy. You can be happy. Um, even in the hello up block. Nice to
So
see.
so so okay. So again, so again, could you define for me what human rights is in terms of women's right, like in terms of feminism? Like what design for me the ideal? What is feminism, human rights? Like, okay, so if you had all these check boxes, this is what it is.
Well, I guess for me, it would be that I have equal chance of getting a job as a man does.
How do
If
you
you
know
look,
that? How do you know? How do you quantify that you have equal chance to getting a job like a man?
well, when they did experiments where they had, Sarah's resume versus Jack's resume, Jack got the interview and the job more often than Sarah did. So there's just one little kind of look at it as to the imbalance there.
So Jack, so you're saying that they tried many times to have a guy interview and a girl interview, and it was always they gave it to the guy. That's always the case.
It's not always the case, but that's what the results of the experiment yielded was that often,
Show me
and
the-
it was a
Could you
whole,
show me this experiment?
sorry,
Could you show me this experiment?
I'd have to, I learned about it in
Oh, the
college.
paper,
I learned
the
about it in
paper.
college, so I would have to go deeper into.
Do you
I,
mind Googling it to finding that study that um, shows that men, women get hired more often than men?
all right. Okay, I don't know if this was the exact one, but the first one that popped up shows about it's a study why employers favor men. It's a .edu. Um, Employers were much more likely to hire women than male employers were. Um, so it's a
So
gender.
how? Why more likely? Like, is there a why there? Like, why would they hire more likely? What
And there's
what
on
variables?
Harvard Business Review says why men still get more promotions than women. They took like 4,000 things. What is it here? They said um, a Catalyst survey of over 4,000 high potentials show that more women than men have mentors, yet women are paid $4,600 less than their first post MBA jobs. And then it goes off. But women are 30% less likely to be considered for a hiring process than men, and less likely to be called for a job interview than men with the same characteristics. So they have the same, like, hey, I went to this college, I have these skills. They're still 30% less likely. Um, so these are from Harvard. These are .orgs, .edus. So there's a bunch of studies. If you
And
just
why do you think that's the reason?
deep seated just biases towards gender. I have my own biases towards with my own self towards women. Like I have things that are built into my brain. Just how is
Okay, so walk me through. Let's say I'm a man right now. I'm the CEO of like company X, okay, whatever. And now I have a man and a woman that have the same exact qualifications. Both engineers, both equally as good. They went to the same college. Why am I going to take the man over the woman? Like, why is the reason for that? What biases? You said there's biases. Explain to me the biases.
Okay, well, first of all, Opblock says I think gender inequality is very visible in certain counties, but has improved majorly in Western countries. I agree. I agree. I think we are like living as a woman, especially like this is like the best time to be alive in America and where we're at.
Yeah, I know, but I want to understand why am I gonna not take you over a man? If you both have the same, you went to Harvard, you both went to Harvard, you both
Mhm.
are software engineers, and you both worked equally for 3 years. Why would I take the man over the woman? Like, I want to understand what's the bias.
I wonder if it's just this like there's this trust in like men to like lead the charge and like they're capable, and if I'm a man hiring someone, I probably want to hire someone that's like, hey, like I see myself in you. There's studies that show that we gravitate towards people who even kind of look like us. There's just like that familiarity principle in psychology where you also so more maybe more women who are in more hiring positions, maybe they would hire more women. But I think I was reading something, but it's just in a blurb that even women are maybe hiring men as well, more so than the women. And I think it's like just
So you
centuries old.
so why but so you're saying that women have biases as well. So everybody
Yeah.
has bias against women, you're saying.
I mean,
Like
I
why? Like why would a CEO, I still don't understand. Why would a CEO that's female have the same biases as men? So that means it's like a human nature problem. We all don't like women to hire women. We don't want to hire
No,
women.
so let's say you grow up and you're watching the media, and in all of the roles you see, like, the man is behind the desk and the woman is at home making the pie and all the cartoons and all the things. It slowly, like, integrates into your head that,
It's because of
oh,
cartoons.
this is like the roles that we play in society, you know? And I babysat an 8-year-old girl, and she was picking like all these little sock puppets. She was like, and that guy's a man, that's a woman, that's a man, that's a woman. And it was like the president was the man, the doctor was the man, the like little chef was the woman. Like, she just has these ready built-in kind of perceptions of like men being in the workforce.
CEO, do you think a CEO of a big company that's successful, whether it's a female or like you said, because this is a problem with female as well. Do you think a CEO of that's someone supposed to be competent, that's supposed to have his or her company succeed, they have those rudimentary biases where they're like, because right now, technically speaking, for a company, a big company, it's a make or break, right? One employee, let's say if I didn't take you as my employee and you're potentially better than that man, it could potentially destroy my company if I got the wrong candidate. So you're saying because that CEO was watching videos as a kid of cartoons seeing the male as a doctor, that's why they picked the male, is because they saw videos of males as doctors when they were kids.
I'm sure there's many factors that I can't
So what other
determine.
factors do you think there are? Like what other factors?
I don't probably the peers, the culture you were raised in, the way your mother was, the way your father was, the way your friends were, your first jobs. I think there are good people out there that obviously women are getting hired. I'm not saying there's like women aren't getting hired at all, but there's clearly many studies that show there is a disparity there, there's a gap there. So those are the guys that are studying as to why, so maybe we can get to the root of the problem. And I think that's why in the media as well, like in kids cartoons and stuff now, you'll see women taking these like positions of power because times are changing, and that's a way, like, media is kind of like
So
hypnosis.
I still don't understand those biases. I'm still sorry, I'm confused. Like what are those biases? I still don't get it. So you're saying I am not going to hire you as a woman because I watched cartoons as a kid and I was told that doctor should be or engineer should be males. So I'm not going to take you because I think you're supposed to be a man. And now as an adult, I'm going to be like, well, I've seen in cartoons Kelly is not supposed to be an engineer or doctor. I'm not going to take her. That's the reasoning.
Again, I am not boiling it all down to cartoons. That is not, that is one element that I'm talking about, that I think that I I think what we watch growing up does wire our brains. Like, I have wiring from the things I saw growing up. I'm sure there's so many other factors as to why people choose
So,
this.
so is wiring number one, you think, or number two? Like what in the list of things, is it like the number one reason why I don't want you as a doctor in my company is because of wiring? That's the main reason.
So considering we make decisions from neural firings, sure, I would then guess that the way our brains are wired is the way that biases form, because biases are opinions, which are neurons firing and wiring together.
Okay, so do we ever okay, so it's all wiring. It's all because of cartoons. So you're saying that if right now, 5 years from now, we had the right cartoons and the right books and the right where all women are doctors and engineers in the pictures, then the biases will go away.
I think that I'm not saying that that's a very, very big blanket statement. I'm just speaking of one element as to why I personally think, because I've noticed my own ways of watching TV, how it changed me and informed me. I think there's so too many factors that to boil it all down to cartoons. But I think, yes, the way that our brains are wired, we're slowly changing the way we believe and the way we think over time. And I don't think it's just a coincidence that all these studies are showing this gap here. Like, it's not just, oh, there's no reason. There has to be a reason, and it probably comes from belief sets, or which does boil down to wiring. But that's not all just because of cartoons. It's not just why. That's not how our brains are solely wired when it comes to this.
Okay, so what are other, could there potentially be other reasons why they don't hire women, or you think that's the main,
Sure. No, sure,
what
and it's
what are the,
probably evolutionary. It's probably I think men have better qualities at some jobs, hence get paid more, which is fair in my opinion. Women have better qualities at some jobs, but get paid the same, if not less than men, which is not fair in my opinion. Yes, op block. I was also using an example the other day about how like um okay, because I'm in the acting industry, which is like we can all agree that women know how to feel, right? We all know how to like cry and emote, and yet still we're paid less. And the in the acting industry, there's also just less roles, less good roles for women, which is now changing. So I agree. If you're better at a job, you should get paid more. And if a man is more like, okay, I need to be a firefighter, I need to like carry a man
what,
out of a burning building, yeah, that should be a guy, I would think, you know?
I just don't understand what, so why are there more, like, why are there more roles for a men than women, and how do you fix that? Like, yeah.
These are big questions. Yeah. I mean, these are, I think, very long generations of reasons, and we are slowly making change and making progress. But I think, and this is something that's kind of a valid reason that is difficult, that I think should be addressed, is that women have the ability to get pregnant, and that means now I have to do paid maternity leave for you at some point. And so maybe when I'm sitting as a guy and I'm looking to hire somebody, I don't want to deal with that down the line, of that possibility that you might have to take
So
maternity leave.
women work less basically because of maternity leave.
Well, it's like you got to take time off. You had a kid.
So that means I'm hiring. Got it. So that means I the consideration is I don't want to hire someone because they'll work less, right? Because they're going to take maternity leave and they'll take. Um,
Maybe that's part of a reason why somebody might not or be
so
more
isn't
hesitant.
that it? Doesn't that reason make more sense than, because it's capitalism? I want, probably a CEO wants someone who works the longest hours, the most hours. So do you think it's more probable that is that the reason why people don't hire women mostly in that category, which is like, okay, they work less? Or is it because of reading a book when you're a kid?
I think there are many factors, that it's not just, oh, the maternity, because I think some people aren't thinking down that far. I'm here offering up this as a, hey, I can acknowledge this is a kind of valid reason as to why someone would maybe hesitate in hiring a woman. But at the same time, we have skill sets and ways of thinking. Our brain thinks so
So
differently. We can add
I'm
value.
reading here. I'm reading here. Women work almost 5 hours less than men per week. Do you think that has any factor in a CEO that's a female who probably doesn't have the biases of a man? Like you said, she probably, even though she read the books when she was a kid and saw males as doctors, she still is a female, right? She doesn't. She's probably worked on her biases. So, do you think that plays a role in why men don't, or women prefer hiring men because of they work 5 hours more per week?
If I were somebody hiring, sure, that would play a factor in it. Yes, again, not boiling it all down to cartoons are the reason why women don't get jobs. So gonna
Okay,
avoid
so then, do you think, what is more of a winner in your opinion? Is it that women work 5 hours less a week? And by the way, averages, usually that's averages, right? So that means on average they work 5 hours less a week. Usually the tails, you know how that works, right? They just average all the stats.
yes.
So
I mean,
what it means is that on like the higher paying jobs, it's probably way more than 5 hours. It's probably men will work 20 hours more, 30 hours more. So my question to you is, do you think it's more, what do you think is the winner here? Is it that CEOs that are male or female don't hire um, girls because, or less likely to hire girls because they work less hours? Or is it because, well, I don't know, you have, you're, you don't look like a doctor to me, or you don't look like an engineer to me?
well, considering that on an acting set, you don't work 5 hours less, you work the exact same amount as men. So, speaking from my industry, then where's the explanation as to why there's shittier roles for women and we even get paid less for as a leading role? So, that has nothing to do with the the hours that we work, and yet there's still the same problem. So it can't all be pinned to that as well.
Okay, so here, so for your role, I'm gonna ask Oplok's question. Do you think that the roles are designed because there's just not enough stories being told that put women in roles that are needed? Like, is it a problem of I don't want? I'm trying to still understand. Is it because I don't want to hire women because you guys are whatever, like you said, you don't look like a doctor to me, or you don't look like the role I want to pick? Or is it because of other reasons? So you agreed that men CEOs and female CEOs don't hire women because they work less hours. That's more the right. That's the reason why they don't hire them.
I think we can't pin it to one reason. There's not a one reason as to why.
Well, I would think as a capitalist, like again, I would think if I was a CEO of a company and I had a choice between a person that works less hours and a person that works more hours, there's no question in my mind I'll go with the person who works more hours.
I would also like to see if that, yeah, there are various reasons. Okay, because yes, and the occupation, like I say, when it comes back to acting, my occupation, there's no disparity there in work hours, and yet the same problems are there. So how has that been explained? There's other
Okay,
factors at play here.
yes, let's start first with more because we were talking about doctors and engineers, and then we'll get to the acting one. I have a few questions there, but related to like finance people, and let's talk about finance people, engineers, and doctors, where it's like more into like that's what a man is supposed to look like. Do you not think that if I was a finance bro, or let's say I was an executive at Goldman Sachs, and I would think in those industries, the average is not. It's not like the average. It's like those people work like 80 hours, 100 hours a week, probably there. So, do you think as a CEO, even if I was a female CEO, like if I knew for a fact, like this guy just came out of college, he's hungry, he's going to work probably more hours than a girl. Do you think that's the main factor for a CEO, as
I
opposed to pictures?
I mean, yeah, maybe that's more of a reason than these ingrained biases. Um, I am also trying to understand where that data is accumulating. Like, in what way do women work 5 hours less? Is it because what are like,
So this is coming
we all
from
have shifts.
CNBC is like very on the left, from what I understand. This is a study that they took from. I've seen those studies. There's a Pew Research Center. I'm looking at it right now.
Mhm.
This is a very well-known study, which is like women on average work less hours than men, and
Yeah.
it's even more so in like certain industries or certain. Again, this is the average. So on average, they work 5 hours less than, which is a massive. 5 hours is a lot on
So
average.
I'm looking at it as well, and there's there's certain people saying that they're working, oh, that there's elements of women working fewer hours because they're also getting less shifts, they're getting less jobs, and like the minimum wage industry side of things. But then there is the other side of things where because of they have like a kid at home or something like that, they have to then work less hours of men. And I was the one who originally brought up that being a factor in why I'm going to choose to who to hire, is that if you have maternity leave, if you have these issues, I can see why that could determine a certain hiring bias there. And at the same time, it's like, if okay, you maybe sacrifice some of that work hours though for like having that female energy in mind on a case. It's why do you want everyone being a man? They all kind of think in a certain similar, like, why, you've said before,
Well,
together we're better. So to bring in a woman, yes, maybe she can't work as many hours because, like, oh, guess what, her husband isn't staying home with the kid, so now she gets fucked, she has to go take off sometime early because she can't, she's a mom too. So it's like, okay, we can't
okay,
just be
so
a
I don't. Yeah, so I don't know the reasons why women work less hours. I'm just gonna say, you don't think that a CEO of a company of a big business that he's just scared of his shareholders, right? He she is very scared of their shareholder. That's all they're thinking about. Do you think that person gives a shit? Do you think they're like, so first we established that they're not hiring women because of perceived biases around like society and pictures and all that. It's more probable that they're like, well, they're going to work less hours. I don't want to fuck with that. So I'm going to hire people that work more hours because 5 hours for the bottom line of the business is a lot of money, right? That's like, we're talking about serious money. So, so that means like, yeah. So the conclusion is that they're not hiring because they know that women work less hours.
So maybe in certain companies, yes, but what about the acting industry? What about companies? What about minimum wage jobs where it's like, I'm here, I'm going to like, sure, maybe in some high tier lawyer law firm that's what's determining the the decisions here. But there are minimum wage jobs where it's like, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna, I every job I've ever worked, I've worked the exact same hours as the men. So it's like it's not it's where do you explain that?
Okay, so Uplock says finance people can see employers going for men because of the fact that they have been currently are many successful CEOs. Men are likely to have partner reputation, but don't get me wrong, it depends on the individual. You can't judge males, but yeah, there's a successful women in the finance. There are also successful men. Yes, they are, and just maybe not as successful as men due to the maybe a lack of opportunity, incentives of higher wages, etc. So you don't think, so you think the reason why men succeed is because they have it's because from the get-go they get paid very well as opposed to women.
Sorry, that they
So
succeed
so you,
because they're paid
yeah,
very well.
because he's saying that there's a lack of opportunity incentive. I'm just wondering, is the lack of opportunity incentive because of lower wages, or is it because of just the drive is not there? Because there's definitely, we established that there's less hours worked.
Better reputation is what men get. Yeah, because you're right. There is that standing ground of like, I grew up seeing, the male CEOs, or like, oh, I've already worked in this industry for 20 years. Women are starting to integrate, but like, I know men can get the job done. I'm going to stick with what I know because that's what's gotten the job done. So there's probably that's another factor. Again, we're not pinning everything on one factor, but makes me think. I saw this documentary that blew up for recently, Quiet on Set, the Nickelodeon documentary, and they in a writer's room had two women share a single salary. So they had a position for they had all male writers in the writer's room, and they said, okay, let's get a female writer in here and let's get two of them for the price of one. And so they know that maybe if you're more desperate because you're trying to integrate your way into the workforce, women are going to take a pay cut, and that's how it's been. And so these women did take the pay cut. They took like two women working one job. So it's like, how do you explain that? They're there, they're doing the hours. They were old enough to be out of baby giving, like they weren't able to birth any babies, and yet they're still getting subjugated into one salary with two women.
Hmm. So that's always the case in for writers. They always get paid. Um, in writers' room, they always take two women and pay them one salary.
No, no, that was an example I was saying from a documentary I saw that
Oh, so
recently.
it's anecdotal. It's one case. It's not like the
I'm
common thing.
saying, how do you explain that then? When you have women that are not of childbearing age, and I'm looking to hire a writer, I have all men in this writer's room, all with their own separate salaries, then why two women share one salary? What's the thought process behind
So
that?
that's always the case. So
Hours.
in writers' room, like they always pay two women.
I don't know why
Uh,
you're saying so that's always the case. I'm talking about this specific case.
well,
And I'm asking, how do you explain that when no baby's involved, same hours worked, and yet they are the
one,
ones that are forced to share a salary? Why?
it I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things that happen in the world, right? There's people that do all kinds of things. I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's
There's
not it's not
factors
yeah, but
involved.
my question is it always the case? Like, is it always the case where women get paid, two writers get paid one salary, or is it just, you know
It is illegal, yes, op block. That's not always the case. I think we're
So
making
it's
progress.
illegal, like his point, right? It's illegal to do that. So in
Yeah,
this
and
case,
yet they still do it. They still do that shit. They still pull that shit. Yes.
what, regularly, or is it? Do you have many, many cases of doing that?
Um, no, I don't have many cases, but you're talking about that it's all about women working less hours, and so I'm now using an example as to how that negates that claim of, oh, it's all because of this. Then it's that because women work less hours. Then how do you explain it in this situation? It's just like it
So
can be a blanket statement.
I
Like,
have a question. The top two writers on Earth are two women. Elizabeth, but I never heard of this woman. Buddington, and J.K. Rowling. I don't know who Elizabeth Buddington is. Who is that? I never heard of this woman. Have you heard of her?
no, what has she written?
I don't know. I don't even know the books, and she's the richest woman in the world. She's very rich. She's a billionaire. She's from writing. So I have a question. So if we have these issues, why are the top two writers on Earth who are so for example, Elizabeth and J.K. Rowling combined have 10 times more, sorry, 6 times more wealth than Stephen King, who's the top male writer, and like, basically they combined, they're more successful than the other eight on the list. So why, if we have a bias, why are these women like, yeah, according to your thing with Nickelodeon, like why are they so, yeah, these women are absolutely doing way better, right?
Yeah, so I think for one to say like, oh well, look at this. There can't be a problem. It's kind of like saying, oh, Barack Obama, black president, clearly racism is over. So it's like,
So
yeah,
isn't that the same as the example that you said two writers are the same, that got paid the same as one writer? Isn't it the same example, which is like two anecdotal evidence cases, or it's like you can't generalize based on that?
I
Because
think
you said before that like there's two
okay,
women.
but women who have written these books, that means I wrote this story. I didn't need to climb a corporate ladder to write this story. I didn't need to be hired to write this story like these women in this room. I wrote a story that was so undeniably good. It swept the nation. And people reading a story, they're not thinking, a woman wrote this, a woman wrote this. I'm not looking at a woman face to face every day in the office being like, oh, you're probably not as good of as a writer as these guys
Oh, okay.
who do a
So
shitty.
that means that if you do your, okay, so then you said how to fix this. To fix this is to take matters into your own hand, and then there will be no biases, right? So they do what they did, right?
Well, I'm saying as well that they're not, you're hiding behind a story as well. Like I'm saying, when you're face to face in an office looking at a woman, maybe seeing like, oh, can see some of her leg today, blah, 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 like that none of that is happening when you're reading Harry Potter. When you read Harry Potter, you're in the wizard land, and that if anything, that just shows that like, damn man, like women, when without these like social barriers and things, like look what we can do. We're really great storytellers, and so that's maybe why more so that we are the
Okay,
top.
so then
Yeah,
isn't the answer is always uh, do things the way you want them to do, right? Like if someone puts a barrier on you, just make another reality and just do it over there. No, because you're basically saying the answer. The answer is to not follow the norm, right? Do what J.K. Rowling did, or
so if I'm like the engineer and I can't write a book that people don't have to look me in the face and be like, oh, that's a woman, right? Like,
so make your own app. So
then what
design
do
your.
I do? Yeah,
So why
sure,
don't
and
you
women
just
and
build?
women do that. But what if I don't want to do that and I want to just live a peaceful life where I am a part
But
of a
isn't life
community?
unfair? Isn't life unfair? Like you're never going to get exactly the way things. Do you think everyone gets what they want out of life, like exactly the way they want it?
Of course not. In fact, when you set expectations, they never work out how you expect things. You should
Exactly. So then, what's the problem? So then, if you want to work at an office where there's a lot of men in there that are like whatever, a certain type, and you don't want to get catcalled or whatever, why don't you just start your app, uh, an app idea, or do something for women? I don't know. Like there's a lot of things that you could do. Like J.K. Rowling, and she's the most successful. She literally, she beat every single man on earth times six. Sorry, times, yeah, times seven.
Yeah, so we're just gonna say to the women that just want to like work in a community in a nice workforce and go about their 9 to 5, and maybe they want to be in journalism, and so they go to a journalist, hub, whatever the heck it's called, and that's not a male other, it's like, so we're just supposed to allow, like, women used to get like their butts pinched at work. They used to be like touched. And so we're just supposed to say suck it up. Like, why not make certain changes for the better if you can, if it's attainable and if it's okay,
Do you think
why not?
do you think I could be a famous basketball player?
Sorry?
Do you think I could be a famous basketball player?
No.
Okay, so why is that a problem that I like? Let's say I did want to become a famous basketball. Why, like, why does that bother you? That, like, if I told you that I'm bothered by that, why would you be like hurt by my inability to be a basketball player?
I wouldn't be hurt by your inability to be a basketball player.
So why should I be hurt for your inability to work at some environments that are not
I think there's a lot
productive?
going against why you can't be a basketball player. Like, okay, the physicality, the height, the training, like that, you got to start young, versus like, hey, I'm just a lady that wants to get a job as like a salesman at some or
So
something like that. I need to earn money. That's, you're talking about a dream.
okay, so if I wanted to
I
be
need to
okay,
earn
so
money.
okay, so what if I wanted to be a strip, like what I want to be a sex worker, and I want to work at a strip club with a female dominated industry, or there's a lot of female dominated industries, and what if I wanted to be working with them? Like, you don't think there's environments for me as a man
Did
that
you
are
just
not?
you say, oh yeah, like a female dominant, like sex workers. So it's like, that's what's right in your brain as like, this is a woman's job. This is what that's what came out of your mouth first is, oh yeah, like the sex worker. Like, so that is what was wired in your brain.
No, no, I'm just coming up.
And it's okay, but we
No,
have
no,
to
no, 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 no.
acknowledge it.
Hear me out. Hear me out. One second. One second. I'm trying to not laugh. So, no, I meant to say that there's like, okay, for example, there is nurses.
Modeling
Yes.
too.
There's modeling. Exactly. So if I worked as a model, the point is, I'm saying is, as a someone that's let's say I was semi smart, okay? Why would I go into a place that wouldn't accept me and then tell everyone you are a bunch of assholes not to accept me exactly the way I want this to be working for me?
So imagine if you went into every place, and obviously that's not what this is, but like, you're
But
talking about
we
one
just
little
agree.
thing.
But we just agree that there's not every place. There's a lot of things as a woman that you could like do. So that's not a general lie. We don't have that issue.
No, but let's say I want to be in like the stock, whatever. I'd like these more male. But the thing is like, why then are men? Hey, being a lawyer is a male dominated thing, and it's not going to change. And get out, or get out. It's just a male dominated
So
thing. Get
do you
over
think
it.
if you went to that boss and said, "I'll work 30 hours more than everybody here in the in job interview," and you add that to the resume, do you think the CEO has a more likelihood to hire you?
Yeah, yeah. But why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do that to get the same? Like, it's just, you hear these women that have made it and have climbed to the top. You hear their stories, and they had to grind so hard because they had to work many more hours. They had to prove themselves. They had to get past
So
these
that's
like,
the answer. Said what the answer is.
that is one answer, yes, because there's been a lot of women
So
that
that
have
means it's
made
just a laziness
progress.
thing. It's just a laziness thing. Like if they all went above and beyond, they will all make it to the top. So it's not a problem of really biases or anything, because you just said it that there are some women that reach the top. So if they reach the top because they put in more hours and did things that are, then that's the answer. That's it. No, that's what we should do.
It's not always the case. There is a woman, she was Jewish. She was born in a time where Jewish people couldn't be movie stars, and so she put in all the hours all the time, and she was forced to become an acting coach, and she was always bitter because of it. Her name is Stella Adler, and she's one of the most famous method creators of the method. And she, because of the time she was born into, no matter what, she was a star. She should have been a star, but that was the time. And so
But
she was forced to take a different route.
but it seems like you just So you're saying, so first of all, you're talking about this woman. That means she's very famous and she's a legend in the industry, right? She invented method, you said?
No, I mean she's one of the majors. Yeah,
Yeah, so
methods.
you're talking about her. That means that she's a historical figure, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
So that
mean,
means she was very successful.
yes, she was very
So what's
successful.
the problem? So I don't get it. She did what we're saying, which is basically she found a path that made sense to her, and she
Well,
made it.
life,
And you're talking about her, so that's a big deal. You're talking about someone that died 100 years ago, I'm guessing.
yes, but we're talking
Yeah.
about equality, right? And so she wanted to be an actor, and because of anti-Semitism, she was barred. You were not able to become an actor. So
But isn't that good that she didn't become an actor? Because now you're talking about her 100 years after her death.
I mean, if you asked her, I think sure, maybe she's like, yeah, it all worked out. But like the thing is it's not just about success or money or my name in history. It's about like I want to be happy. I want to do what I my purpose is what I think I would be best at being and doing and giving and providing to the world. And to be stopped for that just because I have female like anatomy, that's where it's like, dude, why, like why should I be barred from this? But
I still don't understand, because so you were saying that like we deserve to be happy to get exactly what we want, but I feel like her level of success is attaining the highest form of, she did something incredible, and that should be, that's it. Why does she need to get exactly the thing that she, like, you know how many things I wanted to be since I was a kid? Like, you probably wanted to be a million things and you're never going to get them. I want to probably be a soccer player. There's no way. I learned at some point that I don't have the genes to be a soccer player, but whatever. I wasn't a soccer player. Is it
okay,
okay? Yeah.
there's a lot of reasons why dreams don't work out, and I think that it shouldn't be just because you're Jewish or just because you're a woman. That should not be one of the reasons why your dream doesn't work out. We should all get a fair shot at the American dream, right? We should all get a fair shot at it. And
Yeah,
is
but
that
she
like so much to
isn't
ask?
it. No,
Like,
but she made it though. She did fulfill the American dream. She's being talked about 100 years after her death.
but you're looking at it through the lens of oh, monetary success, like historical lineage, like this is what success is versus like maybe she didn't give a shit about any of that and she wanted her little life, this one life that we have on this rock, that each day she could have been doing the thing that she was born to do, that she was a star, a performer, and she never got to do that because of what was going against her of being Jewish. So it's like that is the more concern. Like screw it. What if she would say, I don't give a shit if anybody talks about me 100 years from now. I'd give all of that up if I could just have been an actor in a small theater. Like I don't even care, you know? It's
Okay. Okay, so I still don't, I feel like the conclusion, because we said we were going to do an hour, but I feel like the conclusion here is like, if you do work hard and you go above and beyond as a woman, you could fix that problem that we said, right? That's the conclusion. That we could
that's
fix.
what you want. I think that is what women have been doing in spite of everything since the dawn of
You
time.
don't think
But
guys who get to the top go above and beyond as well? You think they just
I'm
get
not
it?
saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Do you think
But there are more barriers, there are more walls and hurdles to get through as a woman in many
do you
industries.
think
Yeah,
do you think men get bullied at work between each other? Do you think men are rough on each other?
yeah, sure, yeah.
How rough do you think they are? Like how rough is it to be a man between other men? So let's say I join right now a finance company and I want to make it to the top. How tough do you think it is to make it to the top?
So hard, and that's the thing is, I am not negating the struggles of men and like that. You guys aren't like you guys. I'm not saying you just got there
No,
because you're a man. Like I am not saying that at
do you
all.
think we bully each other?
I probably because guys are pretty like ha 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 ha, you know, with each other.
So
So me.
how rough do you think we are towards each other? Like what is the experience of being a man right now? Let's say I walk into an engineering room and I just got a job at some company, right? How rough do you think we are towards each other, and how does it translate? How does it work? How we act? Like, let's say there's no woman around, and it's just a bunch of us, like 10 of us. We're 10 engineers in a room, and now we're working together. I just got the job. How do you think they're going to act towards me?
I'm not a man. I've never been there, so I don't know. But I have read that women in those male kind of workplaces, they say like, hey, if they start like jabbing at you, jab back. It means they're kind of including you into the sphere, and that's the way that men kind of joke around with each other is through those kind of jabs. And that
Do you think it's just jabbing, or do you think it's other things?
I don't. I've never thought. I don't know because I'm not in that kind of workspace, and I'm not a man.
Okay, so men are very um basically what I think is like some women want special treatment. They don't understand that men are very, very, very when I say very, I'm saying many varies for a reason. Most very, very dangerous towards each other. It's a threat. Like men are a threat to each other at work environments and at business environments. We're a competition. Like we will seize you up. We like you understand that like men are very competitive, right? It's not easy to try to make it to, yeah.
Well, could help to get some female energy in there. Then I've watched Survivor and the all male tribe. When the women came in, it made the men so much better, made the women so much better. Like I think that if we, we're both in the workplace, maybe we could ease some of that pressure and that tension with each other, and we would all be happier.
I
you know.
just I just still don't understand why like not do you still didn't answer this question. I'm still trying to understand why not do the thing. So let's say right now I'm trying to be an actor, and that's my dream. And then there's a different, but I can't. They're like no Jews, no Jewish actors, and I just can't get a job as an actor.
Mhm.
But then um, that somehow translates to me finding out that I'm like really good at teaching acting, and then I become the most famous teacher in history because I'm being talked about 100 years after I die. So I'm probably one of the most famous teachers in the acting world. So I become so successful that I have books about me, and maybe is there a movie about her? I'm assuming there's movies about her or whatever. There's like a Wikipedia about her. So I reach a level that is like the most successful thing I've ever like imaginable. Like I'm one of the most successful teachers in history. Isn't that like isn't that life? Like isn't that like, for example, I try to be, I think, an artist, and then the art, I don't know, like people try things, and then because the environment designs something else for them, they end up somewhere else. But then they become a massive success in that somewhere else. Like, for example, I know people that were like, wanted to be musicians and they wanted to be on stage. That was their dream, but they weren't successful in that space. But they met other people and they started writing for other people and they became
Mhm.
very successful writers. So they
Yeah.
didn't accomplish their dream. They failed at their initial dream. That was their biggest dream. They wanted to be successful on stage. Is that bad? Like, why is that bad?
No, and look, I hear those stories all the time in the industry where people say I started out as an actor and then it led me to be a costume designer instead, or something like that. I think if that's your journey and that's where you're meant to go, great, sure, whatever. But should the reason why you're scooted that direction be because of how you look, of just this thing that you were born into, this body you were born into? And so I'm saying like, okay, obviously the world isn't cotton candy and rainbows. Like that's if that's what has to happen, that's what has to happen. What I'm getting from you is that let's say I'm that woman and I'm Jewish and I want to be an actor, and they say, hey, if you come over here and march with us, we could maybe get some traction going and fix that, and then you can live your dreams. Why not choose to march? You're saying don't even march, don't even
So
try, lay down and take it.
it seems to me if she marched, she would be a failure. She wouldn't be on Wikipedia today
But maybe
because she
she would
wouldn't have.
be here. Maybe, but that's not the reason that we're like we're here to like be our what we want to be and be happy and help others, uplift others.
Do you think if she marched and she went to college, she would have the time to be who she wants to be?
He says, very good point, Michael. I think what Kelly is trying to get at is why should a woman be barred from the first original thing they wanted to do in the first place?
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying to be barred. I'm just saying that like what is better time spent? Let's say you're that Jewish girl, and what is better time spent? Is it to go and march, or to become the most successful teacher in acting history and be have a Wikipedia page 100 years after your death?
who gives a shit about that? She's dead. Like, what if she would have been happier? And I think in her interviews, she said like she's bitter about the fact that she never got to do what she was meant to do. And let's say you go and you march in it. Oh, cool! Now it changes. Now you can be a Jewish actor, and it's that's some people also get pushed away from their dream and they don't get to be like Wikipedia legends, they now just have to like work in the mills for the rest of their life or something like that. So it's like what I'm feeling from you is like the like don't even march, don't even try to change it. Just suck it up, just lay down, just fucking. And I'm like, sure, there's certain things that cannot be changed in this lifetime. Progress is slow. So you are going to have to suck it up and you are going to have to just work with what you got. But at the same time, we need to always be making progress. So
But
why
do you think,
not
yeah,
keep
but
going?
do you think that only applies to women and other people, or like, or do you think that sucking it up is only a problem that women have to face, or do you think it's a human problem?
No, it's a human. That's why I said also feminism, like it covers other topics than just women, like it's okay, we gotta like work with what we got, men and women in whatever situation you're in. Some men are born without an arm, right? You're born without an arm. I'm a man with one arm. I gotta obviously can't march and change that. But like if somebody never had the foresight to be like, I'm just gonna suck this up. Somebody went, maybe I'm gonna build an arm and now we're gonna have and like an arm for somebody, and now we're like, that's where creation comes from, that's where advancement comes from, when we don't just accept things as they are and we want to make things better for people. And I'm saying it's the balance between the two. It's holding both.
Yeah, but now are there laws against women in America?
Where's this coming from?
No, I'm asking because you're saying that there's something we need to do progress. Progress in what way? Is there like laws in America against women to not be
Well,
successful or to
how
not?
about the abortion law? Like there's
No,
laws
no,
that
so we're gonna stick to the work stuff. Do you think there's like, so because you said again, I'm sorry. So the
are,
conclusion is you said that like if you work really really hard and you go above and beyond, you said there's a lot of examples of women that went above and beyond and they made it to the top because there are no laws anymore against Jews not working in certain places and women working. There's no more systemic laws against men. Sorry, against women or Jews or black people. We removed those, right? So because we removed the, well, we did, or do you have an example that we still have them? Could you give me a
there's
could you give me an example of a law that I could look up on Wikipedia, an actual law that's written and that still exists that is against women or black people or Jews today?
I don't know why we're hanging everything on that when the results are still the same. When
No,
I'm
no, the
maybe a
results. No, no, I'm asking a different question. Like, is there a law that you could tell me that is still
I
discriminates
know
against black
I
people?
know what you're
Or
asking. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have law section blah 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 blah. But it's like if there are studies that show I'm a black man, I'm way less likely to get a bank loan. I'm way less likely to get a
but
house.
but
I'm so
didn't you just said
the laws
related to?
are necessary because it's still oppressing these people. Even without laws, loopholes can be done. So why do we need a law to shine a light on something that's already happening? Like
But didn't you say that the results are because that women don't work hard enough, not because of the law or anything against them? But you
I
just said,
never said that. I
yeah,
never.
you said you knew women that like reached the top because they went above and beyond and did above and beyond things.
Yeah, you're saying
That means
that
so
women
that
didn't work hard enough? That's like it shouldn't have to be. I gotta like cut off all my fingers and slave away for years to get to where this guy got by like stepping out of his car. Like,
so you don't
there's
think that guy also that got to that step also went above and beyond?
not to the amount that women have to go. No,
How
I
could
think
you
he
prove
has to
that?
work for
Could you
it.
prove that?
Can I what?
Could you prove that like the man that reached the top and the woman that reached the top, the woman cut her fingers or went up more above and beyond than that guy?
I mean, there's obviously it's not always that case. There's a lot
Is
of
there is there like a study that shows like
women have to work
Alexa?
harder than men. Yes,
No, no,
there's
that
a
that no,
lot.
no, that no, that like you take two CEOs that are at the top, and both CEOs, a man and a woman, like one worked more than the other, that cut off their fingers or whatever.
Well, the fingers was for something funny here. Um, well, I would have to. Women work harder than men. I mean, I'm looking at there's like the New York Times read about the motherhood penalty versus the fatherhood bonus. So it's like you get penalized for being a mother, but oh hey, here's your. So there's a lot of the hidden low BBC how hold yeah. So there's a lot of a model of why women work harder than men. I don't know. I would have to come with a PowerPoint presentation. I was not prepared to come with a PowerPoint
Yeah, so
presentation.
I still don't understand your. It seems to me. So if there are no laws against Black people and Jews,
I don't know
and
that. I don't know that.
no, there are no laws. There are no. I could tell you, guaranteed, there's no laws. I know this for a fact. There's no laws after the civil rights movement, and after there are no laws against Black people and Jews. You could be an actor and Jewish. You could be an actress and Black or whatever. You could be. You could work in Hollywood as a Black person. You could work as in Hollywood as a Jewish person, etc., etc. There are no laws, no specific laws. There are only theories as because of outcome. So you're saying that because not everyone has, because Black people are not highly successful, then hey, there has to be laws against them, or because white
No.
or because women are not successful
I'm not
like
even
men.
concerned with the laws. It's like it's just the way that we are as a society and the way that like people who make decisions can like okay, it's not against the law to choose a man who has the same exact resume as a woman. Instead, there's that's not against the law, but that's still affecting our lives on a level that a law would. So, screw the laws. I don't care about the laws. It's like this is still affecting these decisions are still affecting what matters.
Okay, I still don't understand. Like, sorry, like 5 more minutes, but like I still don't understand if you're saying that there are no laws. Okay, and you said screw the laws. So we agree that there are no laws. That's one.
I
If
don't
so, yeah,
know.
there are no laws. I can guarantee you that there will be no laws against Black people in 2024. They'll be create havoc. So there are no laws against Black people, or sorry, let's stick to women. There are no laws against women to working in the work environment. And you're saying that if you work really hard and you go above and beyond, you could make it to the top. So I still don't understand why do we have a problem if those two things are true.
Well, that's why I use the example of the Jewish woman who worked as completely hard as she could and she still couldn't make it to the top. So there are
But she
still
made it.
limits.
She did make it to the top, and she didn't make it to the top the way she
Not where
wanted,
she
but she
wanted
still
to
make it to
go.
the top.
So hey,
She still make.
you can make it to the top as the top garbage collector man. Hey, it's still the top. You didn't want to be that with your life, but hey, you're
I'm sorry if
the
I start
top
a
garbage
business.
collector
If I
man.
start a business tomorrow that sells shoes, and I end up becoming a billionaire selling shoelaces, I'll be very happy.
Okay, well that's because you're putting your happiness in financial success and she wanted to be a performer. She
But
wanted
isn't it what it's about? Like you're saying, because you're all of this that you're saying is about success at a higher level, right? It's like reaching CEO level, reaching
I'm
some
even
level.
saying like I just want to be a woman that works a 9 to 5 job at some sort of firm, some sort of thing, and I can't even. Joe Jack is getting the job over me. I'm talking about a full spectrum here. I'm talking about CEOs to minimum wage workers to like there's just problems at every level is what we're talking about here.
So it's very hard to talk. Yeah, okay, you can say that. Lots of women get put in scenarios like having to be a single mom. Makes it hard for them to reach the top CEOs.
Yeah, that's definitely another factor for sure. There's just so many factors to keep our eyes on. Um, but I think you and I shall never see eye to eye on this.
No, I'm not. I don't have any opinion on this. I'm just asking questions. It just seems
Yes,
like you're.
you do. Yes, you have an
No,
opinion.
I don't have an opinion on this.
I
No, I
know what
don't.
your opinion is, but
I
that's
don't have
all.
an opinion. Wait, why do I have an opinion on this? I'm using the words that you're saying. You said that actually, women. There are women that reach the top, and they reach the top because they work their ass off. So I don't understand how.
Your opinion is that people should just put their noses down, do the work, accept shit as it is, get
No, it's not my
crafty,
opinion.
and work through.
You said that there's some women that work their asses off and cut off their fingers or whatever, and they reach the top. So then we're good to go.
Okay,
Like,
so I think this is our differing opinion. I think
yeah.
that yes, sometimes you got to keep your you good. Don't be a victim like you. I agree with you there. Don't be a victim. Get crafty, work hard, work your way to the top. But at the same time, make social progress along the way. You believe that when you try and do those things, it only perpetuates the victim cycle, and you think that those like things are not even beneficial, and that you should just go to the whole like accept life as it is, work your way to the top, get crafty, get smart about it. That's where we can meet in the middle, because I do agree with that side, but I think we need to hold both, because if we don't have social progress, if we don't have people saying, hey, this isn't okay, like we're going to be living in the Middle Ages for our whole lives. And why would we do that?
Okay. Okay. Point taken. Yeah, I don't understand still, but I yeah, I'm trying to understand the social progress. So yeah, okay, we said 1 hour. So for
Yes.
it's like one side is like it's harsh reality, the other side is like women should therefore get some paid in certain jobs. Women don't deserve higher pay in soccer because entertainment makes more can produce more of it for me.
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah. Everything is so like case by case as well. So yeah, when people try and put a blanket statement of like feminism, equality for everyone, that means fucking I'm a woman soccer player. I don't bring as many fans into the stands, but I should still get paid the same amount. It's like I agree. You know, if I'm a man, I'm bringing more fans into the stands. I'm making more money for people. I should get paid more money. So sure, like I. That's why it's just so case by case, and I can acknowledge all of that. So I like to acknowledge the sides that like, hey, being a woman that can get pregnant, that could be a determining factor. So I'm like not over here trying to just be like, nah! Like fuck everybody, fuck men, and the women should be propped up. Like I want to acknowledge all the sides here. Um, it is a difficult topic to debate, and that's why we have so much fun with all the time that we keep talking about it. There's
okay,
endless.
okay. I think this was enough. All right,
Okay. All
okay,
right.
all
Well,
right, Kelly. It was
all
a
right.
nice chatting
Thank
with
you
you.
guys, and thanks for
I
talking out block. Thanks for all
Yeah,
the
I'll block. Thank you for being
support.
part of this, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. All right,
All right.
guys.
Well,
Bye,
well, goodbye.
bye,
Goodbye.
bye.